This is Channel Africa. It's time now for Soul Stage. My guest tonight is Henry Mensah. Henry Mensah, who also writes under the pen name Ken Williams, is a Ghanaian-South African author, storyteller, animator, musician, and game developer. His work spans books, animation, music, and interactive games, all driven by the belief that stories can educate, inspire, heal, and bring people together. From an early age, he has drawn to creativity that challenges thinking while encouraging compassion, hope, and understanding. Much of his writing and digital work reflects themes of humanity, faith, resilience, and the idea that even difficult circumstances can become opportunities for growth. He is best known for two very special books. My Name is Lupus, draws from his own experience living with lupus and offers hope to others facing chronic illnesses. Having been in remission for 4 years and approaching his fifth, he uses imagination and adventure to remind readers never to give up hope. He's also the author of the book he wrote in 2026, The Mafia Behind Xenophobia in South Africa, a thought-provoking story written to be accessible to both children and adults that asks readers to look beyond division and reflect on deeper social and economic challenges that South Africa is facing today. As an animator and digital creator, Henry brings stories to life through technology, composing music, developing games, and exploring artificial intelligence to create experiences that entertain, educate, and inspire audiences worldwide. Henry, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing, sir?
Not bad. We celebrate you. You're a survivor. You got to keep that, that positivity going. We salute you. So we want to talk about the work from your books. Some stuff that you've done, animation, music, and games. Which medium do you find most powerful when you want to tell a story?
It depends what's actually happening on the ground. Because, for instance, this new book that I've written, 2026, Xenophobia, the Mafia Behind the Xenophobia in South Africa. It's an idea that just came out. So the best medium for me to do that was through writing. So it depends on how I want to express myself, because it's easy for me to shift into each of these talents that I have. So I think that's
okay. And when you write, you use two names. You use Henry Mensah as well as Ken Williams. What led you to use these two names? Is there a difference with which name works for what kind of book?
No, basically. My name is Henry Mensah, and I use that as for my name. But I use for writing my books, I use the pseudonym Ken Williams. And the reason for that is because I've done a lot of projects, and I like to name each and every one of my projects. And naming myself as Ken Williams, I created a character that has got a voice and also a mystery behind Ken Williams, because if you look down, you'll find out that it's not really Ken Williams, it's Henry Mensah that wrote the book. So it kind of like creates a mystery, and
I see. So how does living between Ghanaian and South African cultures shape the stories that you tell? You've just written a book to do with xenophobia. How did the experience of xenophobia, how did you deal with it, both being a South African and a Ghanaian?
The funny thing about me is that I was born in Ghana. I stayed, let's say, 1 year, and then I moved straight to South Africa. So I don't really have record of my Ghanaian background. And, I've lived with Tswanas, I've lived with Sutus, I've lived with Xhosas. And one thing I've understood is that we are not classified by what we call ourselves, but we are human beings at the end of the day. That's what really matters. It's that spirit that's on the inside. It doesn't matter what color you are or what. These things are just labels. Just to, as human beings, we want to classify things that's a broom, that's a car. So calling someone a Ghanaian or South African that is just a label. And if you really restrict yourself and see it in that way, you kind of like you kind of like create boundaries around your own self, not to understand that we are all humans and we are all one.
All right. So Henry, you're a survivor of lupus. You wrote this book from your own journey. What did you want a reader living with chronic illness to feel after having read your book, Lupus?
Um, okay, the reason I wrote the book, first of all, was that when I was told that I've got an incurable disease, the first question that came to me was, God, why would you give me such an incurable a disease that is incurable? Then after thinking about that, the next question was, or the next thought that came was, oh, an incurable disease. That means that ground has not been discovered. And that gives me an opportunity now to go into that place and see what I can find out about lupus, and maybe I could come up with something that could help people. And so, with that thought, I realized that no, man, this is just a good chance for me to discover what this disease is all about. Then, once I can discover it, then I can come out with the results, and then I can tell people about it. And so that's the reason I wrote the book. And I want the reason when people pick up that book, I want them to understand one thing about themselves is that the way we've been created as human beings, we we are created in a divine way, and we shouldn't just look at just the flesh alone. We should also look at the spirit, because I combined both the medicine and the spirit. And when I'm talking about the spirit, I'm talking about things like hope, belief, joy, love. Those are the languages of the spirit. And if we understand how impactful these things are, just like I'm talking to you, I'm expressing the spirit, and you are hearing what I'm saying, it's affecting you. And if we can understand the science behind the human being, then we are able to find cures quicker than than we can actually think.
Yeah, okay. So, Henry, you say even difficult circumstances can become growth. How do you balance honesty about pain with the hope that you want to leave your readers with after they read the book?
Um, I'm just reminded of something right now. In the Bible, it says that the most important things we should look for is wisdom and understanding, and knowledge. Many people don't ask themselves this question: why is a baby born without knowledge? And when you acquire knowledge, how come you are able to do things? So the whole idea is that God has designed life in such a way that He uses pain, or it makes you go through a dark place so that you can see that you are made out of light. And when you're in that dark place, you can find that light that you are. So whenever you're experiencing pain, it's just God just taking you through a place so that you can just go through there and find out that you are more stronger than the pain. So if you're someone that understands and doesn't run away from pain, and you are able to utilize that pain. For instance, look how magical human beings are. We can take a banana and then we can eat it, and then that banana is transformed into flesh and blood and many other things. So it shows you that we are really, really magical. And so we should understand that pain is part of growing, and it can actually bring out the best out of you.
Yeah, as the saying goes, no pain, no gain. My special guest tonight is Henry, right
Yes.
here on Soul Stage. We'll be right back. This right here is African Diaries. It's now 22 after 11. Special guest on Soul Stage, Henry. How are you? Welcome back, Henry. You're approaching 5 years now in remission. How has that personal shift changed the way you approach new creative projects?
Um, I wouldn't say that I approach projects differently just because I'm in remission. But the one thing I've learned about being in remission is that we should appreciate life, because there was a time when I was in pain, and I could see people walking up and down, and I would think to myself, these people don't understand how much, um, how much
Mm,
life they have, because I was losing life now. So with understanding that we can recover from serious, diseases, I realized that the Creator is there, and He's got a voice, and He's given me these talents to be able to, help people out there to understand that they can do things, and there's a way a human being was designed to live, and basically they should know that good good is better than you know evil, basically. And if you travel the road of evil, you become dark and you start doing bad things and you start hurting people. But when you start
mm,
walking in goodness, then you're able to alleviate pain and you're able to make the world better. So being in remission and getting a second chance at life, I've realized that life is such a beautiful place, and there are many people that are suffering. And now that I'm strong, I'm able to use my talents to able to at least just give them hope, and just to say, hey, listen, you can do it. You are stronger than you believe. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
all right. So, one of the books you wrote this year is The Mafia Behind Xenophobia. This book tackles a heavy social issue in a style, though, for children and adults. Why did you choose to make this book accessible to kids?
Um, I once learned that if you cannot explain something to a 3-year-old in simple language, then it's no use explaining it to an adult. So the whole idea
Mm,
was to write a simple book for children, using a child, so that whoever reads it can understand it, especially children, because that's where our future is and our hope in the children. And also an adult, if they can pick it up, they can see through the eyes of the child, because that can catch their attention. And the simplicity of it is just to question, um, like a child questioning the whole world. Okay, I've just entered this world, and this is what's happening. Why is this happening? Why can't this world be a beautiful place? So that is the reason I wrote that book.
yeah, okay. So, xenophobia is, of course, very topical at the moment. There are conversations about it. So, what do you think once people have read the book, what do you think they'll be able to learn about your perspective on xenophobia?
They should understand one thing, that there's a bigger picture out there, and the only way you can see the bigger picture is having knowledge. We need to understand history. We need to understand why things are happening the way they are right now. And when we understand history, we can see the whole picture, and we can understand exactly what's happening, and then we have choices. Because if we don't understand history, it's like we are making ourselves vulnerable to. But if you understand
Mm,
history, then at least you're able to divert from doing wrong and do good, even though there's still wrong happening.
yeah, okay. I get you. So, part of your body of work, you include a lot of faith and resilience. How do these themes show up differently, in fiction work or, animation or the music that you put together?
Um, I've always believed I've always loved life in the first place, and I've always believed in human beings. And if you look at the human being, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. What I mean by that is that whoever designed this being it was a genius. And so I just want to remind people that you know, first of all, we were not here, now we are here, and we won't be here anymore. So why are we here? And why are we doing what we are doing, whether it's good or evil, in this world? And you know, what are we doing with this great machine that has been given to us? Is it worth it to do bad, or is it worth to do good? But the whole idea is understand that you've been given a great machine, and you've only got like 100 years to use it. And once you're done with it, it's gone again, and yeah, you ain't coming back to use it again. So I try to let people understand that there is a hopeful side of this machine, and if you can do good, you alleviate a lot of people's pain, and yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So as an animator, you also play around with AI. You create a lot of animation and explore AI. How are you using new technology without you losing the human heart in your stories? A lot of people think that once AI is involved, it loses authenticity.
I don't think so. You see, people don't want to look at things in a simple way. For instance, if you had to give me a pen or a pencil, the pen is artificial intelligence in a way. But as I write my story, it doesn't diminish what's inside of me. So now the computer also, just because you are clicking on the keyboard, and it's not AI, it's AI in a way, but it still help you can still write your story. So AI just helps you. It makes things much quicker. You understand? You can you can still use the same mechanism of you put all your ideas together, you feed it to the AI, it creates it, and then you look at it, and then you refine it, fix it here, fix it there, and it's just a tool at the end of the day. So yeah, we shouldn't look at it as something that diminishes creativity. We should just we should just celebrate it as, oh, we've been given something that can help us work much quicker. And yeah,
So, in other words, human beings must not be afraid of AI. They must embrace it. I get you. As a
yeah,
game
we must
developer,
embrace it.
what are you working on at the moment, Henry?
Right now, I was working on a tea game, just to help people relax. I was also trying to work on some Lucas games, but I'm not really working on it on like anything hectic right now, except that I've had an idea to write another new book called Hell, which basically I wanted people to look at the earth as a place where bad things happen, and we all walk through this um, bad thing that is happening, and basically just to narrate that we have to be careful and on this earth. So I'm busy with that. With the games, I just I just create them because I have ideas, and I just create them for people to have fun. And but basically, I've been trying to create games for Lucas people just to help them to understand the Lucas, um, how to beat Lucas, and more about Lucas. Yeah.
All right. And you speak about leaving a lasting impact. What kind of impact do you hope that your work will leave 10, 20 years from now?
There's one big problem. First of all, since we entered the digital age, it's difficult to keep things like books and all the stuff because most of my stuff is digital. The only thing that I hope for is I'm very close to the creator. I always like I I pray and I'm more spiritual. The only thing I hope
Okay.
is that my eyes can see what is wrong in the world, and I can try and write about it, and hopefully the creator can probably distribute it and give it to the people that need to read about it. I'm not really worried about fame or anything like that. I just want someone to pick up the book and then let the book shine a light into their minds, and they can gain understanding, and they can be enlightened, and they can be good citizens, good people, and they can bring good and love into the world.
In this crazy world, Henry, a lot of
In this
people are becoming
crazy,
more
crazy
and more.
world, yeah.
It is. People are becoming so
Yes,
selfish.
yes.
For a young
So
Ghanaian or South
selfish, yeah.
African, yeah, do you know what I mean? Who
Yeah.
wants to use creativity for positive change. What would you say should be
Yes.
their first step?
Basically, enjoy life, live life. Don't be afraid. If you have the feeling to write now while you're still young, start writing. Because I started while I was in high school. I used to read a lot. I used to write cowboy stories. Um, and also just keep on writing and tell people that you write, because I also got lucky. I was telling people on Facebook that I'm gonna start writing. This was like a couple of years back, at my old age. And one of my friends on Facebook sent me a competition by Nali Bali. I'd written some children's stories then. I sent one of my stories there, and apparently I was one of the winners. And I realized, wow, there's power in writing. And since then, I've been writing. So I just encourage people to keep on writing. Don't worry about being famous or anything. There's a way that you get famous, but it's not about being famous. As long as you can sharpen your skill, you can write adventure stories. Eventually, as you're growing older, you're getting wiser, you get experience, you find your niche, your eyes will open up. You might even stumble upon the creator, and he might just use you to write stories that, will inspire people. But the most important thing is just keep on writing, be creative. Don't get stuck in writing. Do every other thing that you can, because inside of you, there's so many talents that you need to discover. One day, even if you stop writing for a year or 2 years, maybe in 7 years, and then on the eighth year, it might come back. Yeah, do that, pick it up and keep on writing. Just keep on being yourself and grow. And yeah,
Henry, somebody said to me the other day, in the next few years, people have stopped reading or writing. They'll simply be communicating through reels. Do you think that's true?
yeah. Um, you know, I can't really say. When I create my books, I try to make them not just like normal books. I try to make them audio books because that's what I've realized. Even I don't even read books nowadays. I prefer just to listen. So listening is an easy skill. Basically YouTube and this text to speech. It's almost like the Matrix. I don't know if you remember when Neo plugged in that
Yes,
device
I
into
remember that.
for the head. So yeah, it's much quicker now just to listen, 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 listen. Okay, well, 3 hours later, you already uploaded the information and go to the next thing. So, as I was saying, technology is there to help us. So the only problem is that many people always say that, no, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. Look, for instance, a couple of, was it last year or so? There was that AI war about, AI mustn't be used, all that stuff. But now everybody's using
Yeah,
AI, and you don't see those posts
true.
anymore on Facebook. So the most important thing is that, guys, let's have an open mind because we've got a long journey to go. You understand?
Hey, Henry, thank you so much for having been part of the show tonight. Wish you only the best. And continue inspiring people, whether in Ghana or South Africa.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Special guest tonight on Soul Stage, Henry. This is African Diaries.